Hello and welcome. I'm AJ.
I'm Alex.
This is NTVN New Tech Vintage Nerds. Today we're going to talk about homepages. Why would
Homepage.
you ever need a homepage for your home?
I don't know. Do
We'll
you?
see.
Right after this.
Before we talk about homepages, what did you automate this week?
Um, Nothing really. I did 3D print something, but I didn't automate anything.
That wasn't my question this time.
I'm sorry, I didn't automate anything.
Okay, well, I did. I purchased the almost old Akara FP2 presence sensor with
Oh,
millimeter wave, millimeter
millimeter wave.
wave. Let's keep it at that. It's a great little thing. I mean, it's a sensor that's got connected to an outlet, but it detects it pretty well. I put it into the kitchen, and it detects persons, multiple in the area. So I now have before the counter and on the other side of the counter two different zones, and it switches the lights above those when you are there. So if you're on one side of the counter, the light goes on there. If you walk to the other side, the light goes on there as well. And if you leave the kitchen, then everything turns off after 1 minute. I had some false positives with the Philips Hue sensors because that was a motion detection. And when you're cutting something up at the counter, it often detected no movement. And I know I can chop like with long holes, but that's not good for my fingers, I think.
You think?
Uh, well, I haven't tried it. I got all nine still. Uh, so no automation on your side. Too bad.
No, no, nothing at all.
Well, what did you print then?
I actually designed a little rooftop for the power plug outside.
Oh, okay.
It's not perfect yet, but it's working.
And why did you do that?
Um, those outside power plugs or the outside power sockets, they should be IP65 or IP67, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, but if they're specifically because we've had quite a lot of rain the other day and today as well. I think it's another code yellow or a code orange or whatever. Um, so that's not rain anymore. That's just pouring.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if these power plugs or power sockets are actually really that resistant to those amounts of water. So I
Hmm.
thought, why not design a little roof in plastic that you can just clip on? So and that repels the water a bit.
Okay, so it guides the water to the sides and then it just drops.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. Well, I did something with wood, but not with plastic. But yeah, it's a good
so,
idea.
something similar. Or
Yeah, yeah. I don't trust those things either. So, home pages.
home pages. So what is a homepage?
Um, for me, it's a place where I can put my most used links to applications in my own home.
Right. So we're not talking a homepage like a homepage you may have. Well, back in the day, you had GeoCities, if you remember. Oh,
Oh
damn.
my goodness, that's old.
Yeah, but or just a homepage where you present your hobby or whatever. No, that's not what we mean, right? It's
Yeah.
this is a homepage is a page where you gather all the services that you have inside your home and that you can use as a single point of distribution, contact, whatever.
Yeah. And then the question, why would you need such a thing?
Well, that question is actually quite easy, because why would you need such a thing? Well, if you are a bit like us and you start the or container now and again, and you maybe fix the service here and there, and then you have something that runs in the background, and then you have maybe a home theater that has a web interface, and then oh yeah, well, my home automation has got a nice interface as well. Oh yeah, I need that too. And before you know it, you have 10, 15, 20 web interfaces gathered
Yep.
throughout your house, from all kinds of stuff. I mean, excuse me, my camera's got a web interface, my network's got a web interface, my router's got a web interface, even my TV's got a web interface. I never use that, but my TV's got a web interface. God
Yeah.
knows.
I was
Uh,
just going to say, not only for us, but if you skip all the things and look at a normal house where a not IT admin lives, um, I think you come to a couple of interfaces, like the interface of your modem, the interface of your TV, if you want to remotely control it, the your receiver, your light. So I already count 4. And do you remember all those links? Well,
I don't.
I don't.
I certainly do not.
Well, and you do have an app, obviously, because there's an app for that. But
There's enough for that.
yeah, but then you got to start different apps, and sometimes you want to just use it on your iPad or your laptop, just controlling those kind of things. So
So let me just count quickly. So I have on my homepage, I have a link to my cooking and recipe app, which is called Mealy.
I forgot about that one.
There you go. I've got a link to Portainer, with which I manage my containers.
Hmm.
I've got a link to my email server. I've got a link to the local speed test.
Oh yeah.
I've got a link to my 3D printer with Octoprint. I have a link to Xibo, which is the source of my local home broadcasting network.
Mm-hmm.
I have a link to my spam filter. I have a link to my NetBoot server, which enables a boot from LAN. I have a link to Frigate, the video recording server.
Yep.
I have a link to Nginx Reverse Proxy. I have a link to Picard, the music metadata service. I've got a link to pfSense. I've got a link to Unify Network. I've got a link to my Synology. I've got a link to Unify Protect, so the camera network. I've got a link to Pi-hole.
Hmm.
I've got a link to Grafana. I've got a link to Homebridge. I've got a link to Plex. I've got a link to my vCenter server. I've got a link to my UPS. I've got a link to the IPMI of my homepage service, my home lab service.
Mm-hmm.
And those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's quickly counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 icons.
Wow. 27. Well, mine are a bit less. I mean, I do have a link to Home Assistant. I have a link to a automation from Home Assistant because the homepage I use has integration for Home Assistant. So one button to start watching TV. I got Smoke Ping. I got SyncThing for synchronization of 2 NASs with from different brands. Yeah,
That's
5.
Yeah.
I got the TrueNAS interface. I got AdGuard, the ad blocker where we talked about last time. I got Link Thing, the local bookmarking tool, because you can use services online, but I want it locally. I use Frigate as well, so that's the other one. I use Mealy. I have to put the link in it. And you mentioned a couple of links. Yeah, I know it's 10. You mentioned a couple of links. I haven't put it in there because I just enter them into the address bar of the browser. So that's one of the funny things. When do you put it in your homepage? I mean, obviously you need a homepage, but what makes it that you put it in? Do you put everything in it, or just the ones that you can't remember? Because for me, it's the things I can't remember because they're all on different ports, or I hardly
So
use them.
this is sort of the center of everything I do here at home.
There's the
Um,
battle bridge.
it's the sort of battle bridge. Yeah, you could call it that. It's got also because the one I use has integration with Pi-hole, so I can also see that Pi-hole is enabled. That we've blocked 18,000 DNS requests today, which is 13% of the total amount of DNS requests.
Yeah.
La di da di da. There are roughly 900,000 domains on the ad list. La di da,
Well,
etc.
yeah.
So it has a bit of integration. I can see what Plex is playing, if Plex is playing, who's watching, and where what they're watching.
Mm,
So if you are watching anything, it shows that. I mean, it's not really important, but
yeah.
sometimes it is. Um, but it's also my bookmark, so it's got the link to the Ubiquity community page. It's got a link to eBay. It's got a link to
Ah,
Amazon,
okay.
AOL, YouTube. So I have a bookmarks bar in there as well. So I don't use. I used to have a separate bookmark sync thing, but I stopped doing that. I just use this.
Hmm. Okay, so a
Um,
lot of
and it
pages.
works really well. It works really well. So why did I start? Well, at some point in time, uh, the reason why I specifically started this is because I started experimenting with
Hmm.
containers. And as you may or may not know, a lot of containers publish their app at some very odd port number.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes I did some fiddling with a container, and it was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and I was
Yeah.
after 4 weeks, I was like, what was that port number again? And 8853 or 5388 or 8538 or
Yeah.
that I can't remember. And that's where this
Yeah.
started basically, because I was losing track of all the port numbers and all the IP addresses, and
Yeah.
was it dot four or dot two? Which one was the unified controller? I think it was dot four. No, it was dot two.
Yeah.
And it's when that happens to you a couple of times, it gets annoying, and then you say, you know what, we should look into gathering this all on a single page.
Yeah.
Um, and thankfully, there are quite a few that offer functionality like this. So you've got homepage,
Yep.
obviously. Um, I tried that. I didn't like it because you had to have all the editing in the YAML
Yep.
file, and that was not a no.
No, it was not easy accessible.
When you do, this is where I had the disconnect. When you need to do everything, it's not the fact. I mean, I can edit a YAML file. That's not the issue. But when I constantly have to open a terminal, log on to whatever container or machine that it is running, then edit, you open the YAML file with. Well, I'm a VI user, so I use
Mhm.
VI. I hate Nano or Emacs or whatever the other people are using. Um, I'm trained on VI, and that's what I use. So open the file with VI, and then have to edit it in, and then uh, why? Because I mean, when I want to use a web page, why do I need to go to a command line to then create a web page to use a web page? This
Eh,
is it doesn't make sense to me, right? So I think that, my opinion, if you want to use a web page, you should be able to edit it as a web page, right? And you just add a link through some form of editing system inside the web page. I mean, I don't need it. Doesn't need to be fancy. You just need. I want to be able to add an icon, a link, and a description. That's it, right? And a homepage didn't do that for
no,
me. So I tried Heimdall,
yeah, me
which I
too.
think a lot of users has a lot of users. Um, and I don't know, Heimdall and me, we didn't get off at the right foot. I don't know why.
Heimdall,
Um,
is that JSON based or also YAML based?
I have no idea. That it's just I installed the container and I started using it.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, and you can Heimdall, you can add it from the web
Ah,
page.
okay.
And I'm now in. Maybe I am in confused if it was homepage or.
Wow. Heimdall already is on version 2.6.1.
Oh yeah, that is very well
And
possible.
the funny thing is that a lot of these home pages have, like you said, integrations for applications. Like Heimdall has 98 enhanced applications where they can pull out informations from the APIs of, for example, Edgard Home or Artifactory or something like all the ARR stuff, the sonar and the download tools.
Yeah, yeah. So that is wonderful. A wonderful thing about Heimdall. It integrates with all kinds of media management tools and Usenet downloaders and Pi-hole and I think Edgard as well
Yep,
and all kinds of other tools.
Jellyfin
But
even.
for some reason, Heimdall and I we didn't get off at the right foot.
Hmm.
I had it completely configured. I painstakingly added all my local apps to it. Added the customized icons to it as well because it didn't have
Hmm.
some. So I really created the icons, uploaded them to the Docker container, and then relinked them back, la di da di da. And then I did an update, and for some reason it fucked it all up,
Okay.
and I could start over. And I did that again. So I painstakingly added all the links again. Thankfully, all the icons were still there, so I could reuse the icons.
Hmm.
But the whole database went out the window, and I had to restart from scratch. And then I don't know, a couple of weeks later, I did another update, and it was back to square one again. And that was the moment where I said, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
Um, delete Heimdall.
Yeah. Well, I had the same experience with one of the others. I can't remember, but those were JSON based, and JSON is it. It's okay. You can edit a lot of stuff, but if you forget a comma or closing sign, then the site says, uh, "Please start creating a new config." And then you have put in hours and hours of configuration, and then you have
Yeah,
to go back to like you vi just change the file and hope that it will be correct again, or just put it to a JSON doctor or something like that. And I, I don't like it.
no. So um, basically, I'm to be honest, I'm not sure if homepage was the one that you needed to edit the YAML file. I was just looking at the site. I honestly can't remember if that is the one. I know that I tried a couple, and I think I tried 4 or 5 different home pages,
Yeah.
and I thought that homepage was the one that I needed to edit the YAML file, but now that I'm looking at the screenshot of it, I'm not sure
Mm.
anymore. So I do not know 100% for sure, but I thought that was the one. Anyway, I ended up using a container or a homepage app called Homar, HOMARR.
Mm.
And no, that has nothing to do with sonar or radar or lidar or any of the other media management apps. This is a completely different product. It is a web page. It runs on Docker. It has integration with Pi-hole. It's got integration with, I think, a couple of media managers. It's got integration with
Yep.
Plex. It's got integration with Overseer, and some other stuff. It can do little pings, so it gives you a green icon when the service is up,
Yep.
or a red one when it isn't, like my TrueNAS time machine, which died. So it's red. So that is quite wonderful. It has you can create different bars. So you can create a bookmarks bar. You can create 10 bookmarks bar if you want to.
Yep.
Um, it's got. Let me see what else it has. Oh, it does have a sort of a Docker
Yep.
interface, but honestly, I haven't used that at all.
Uh,
I know it can stop, start, restart containers, but it's pretty basic. I haven't used it
yeah,
at
you
all.
you can also I use Homar as well. Strange. Um, but you can also select a container and then say add to Homar. Then it will create automatically a icon on the dashboard, and then you can start the application because it already knows which ports are in use. I'm not sure if I add Yellowfin if that works.
I'm not using Elephant, so I wouldn't know. It does have Home Assistant
Yep.
integration. Do you use
Yep.
that? Very well. And it has a system health monitoring, although I do not. I think isn't that just? Let me just open that up. Isn't that just the local container thingy?
I don't
There?
know. Uh,
It's got a weather widget. It's got a
a
calendar.
clock.
It's got a link to Dash. I don't
Oh,
know
Dash was
Dash,
the other one I used in the past.
which is, well, I don't know what Dash is. It's got an index. It can do a video stream apparently. Oh, that's new.
Yeah, yeah, you could do iframes.
Oh, that's well. I've missed that part. This is actually quite nice. It's got an RSS widget. It's got a video stream widget. It's got an iframe widget. It actually can do interaction with your Jellyfin or Plex.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. I wasn't aware that it can do video streams as well.
Do you know that when you do use things like iframe and stuff like that, you might have issues with cores like the cross-domain linking of uh, pages and icons. I couldn't get the markdown part and the, well, not the markdown. I have a markdown server that I couldn't get to work as well as the RSS feeds.
Oh no, I
It's
don't.
probably because of myself. Problem exists between keyboard and chair, but I just gave up.
No, no comment.
No, I just gave up.
All right. I noticed that the system health monitoring indeed is for the local system, and as this is running in a container, it doesn't show me anything. So
Yeah.
that's that is of no use if you use the containerized version. But you can definitely use it or install it on a Linux machine as well. What I quite like about it, it's got a dark mode, it's got a light mode. You can set a backdrop picture, which I have my good old Solaris 10 backdrop in there. Oh, no, it's not Solaris, it's Solaris 8.
Nostalgic.
The Yes, definitely. It is the purple Solaris with the stripes. I still love that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's got a lot of features, and what I like most about it is the fact that you can just edit it through the website. Right, I
Yeah.
want to create a new icon, a new link. It automatically, well, it tries to automatically detect the app that you're adding, and if it has the icon for it, and it's got quite a few,
Yeah.
then it will automatically add the icon. Otherwise, you can add a link to an icon, and it will grab that from Google or Brave or whatever, and it will add the icon for you, or you can upload your own.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I quite like the Homar. It's very customizable. It's very versatile, and most of all, it's very stable because I've been using this for I think 6 months now. It hasn't broken on me once.
Yeah. No, me neither. I do think that when you look at what you expect from a homepage, that there are a couple of things like stability is one of them, and looking at all the other ones, because I browsed Reddit and Google and all these kind of places to see what is the best homepage, but almost all these things do kind of the same thing. They get the icon from the internet, they get the health, is it running or not. So there seems to
Yeah,
be a, a common set of things that everybody wants from a
yeah.
homepage.
General consensus of the
Yeah.
functionality. What should be? Yeah.
So if you use
Honestly,
Heimdall or Homar, like personal preference, I think,
yeah,
or where you started.
yeah. I mean that Heimdall and me couldn't make friends doesn't mean that other people can't. Right? It's a very popular homepage application, and it's very versatile, and it can do also a lot of what Homeward does. So I mean, why not use it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that I advertise against it. It's just that I'm very pro, using a homepage where you can just bundle all your services together, make them look
Yeah.
nice, right? As well. I mean, it's a bit of eye candy as well. I'll definitely admit that. Um, what I like about Homar a lot is that it's so I've got a couple of frames that are positioned in a certain
Mm-hmm.
way, and you can define that per resolution. So I've got a 4K display where it looks differently, but still in the same layout. Where I've got a full HD display where it looks differently, but still in the same
Oh,
layout.
okay.
And on my iPad, it looks differently, but still the same layout. And on my iPhone, it looks differently, but still the same
Yeah, yeah,
layout.
yeah,
And that is something I very much appreciate. And I'm like I said, I'm a big fan.
yeah.
So I really like Homar. It's easy to deploy. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to customize. Um, and for me, it gets 2 thumbs up. It's a very nice application.
Yeah, yeah, same here. So how do you access that page? I mean, you told all the different devices you're using for it. And I just use it in my browser, and I put a pinned tab, so it's always there.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you the
same.
same? Ah, okay.
Yeah, when I open a browser window, it's just that it's automatically the first page it
Yeah.
opens. It really is a home page. It really is my starting page.
Oh.
It's got a search bar and it links. So I think that one links to, I think DuckDuckGo. Top of my head.
Hmm.
Um, so this really is the page where if I start browsing anywhere, this is the first stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have to get used to using it. I mean, it's running like I think 9 months already, and every time I think, okay, I have to use it. So even though I put it a pin node or a pin tab, I use also links in Home Assistant. I got a markdown note in Home Assistant with links. I remember almost all the URLs. So if I want to go quickly, I type them just in my browser. And it's a bit of a strange feeling that I know I have a homepage and it's a good one, and I still don't use it. Why?
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's my reptilian brain.
It must be that. So I definitely, well, so like I said, the spin tab is the first tab in my browser window, and I use it a lot actually, specifically for because it's just convenient, right? I mean, I can remember the IP address for my Unify network
Yeah,
controller, but I can also do two mouse clicks and then I don't have to type.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a keyboard junkie, so now I almost type everything.
Speaking of which, I need new keyboards. Um, anyway, it's just it's getting used to, but like I said, I'm now used to it, and I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I agree. It's getting used to, and then it's good that you don't have to remember things. There's more storage for other things, like
Exactly,
3D printing or automating other stuff.
automating other stuff.
Nice.
Do you have any tips?
I do, because I use home automation with Home Assistant, and a fellow Dutchman, I can't remember his name right now, created something that's called Music Assistant, because I have a lot of sources of music, YouTube music, Spotify, local media like FLAC files or MP3s. The problem I had was that I couldn't get it to work together with all the devices that were playing my music. I have Google Chromecast, I have um, Apple HomePods, I have a receiver that talks Apple Play. I used to have a Sonos, don't remember where that went, but oh, it's right behind you. Um, but Home Assistant makes it possible to create groups of devices that sync together. So I can now create a complete home where all the same music plays, or in a group that's, yes, I know Sonos does that as well, but then you got invest heavily in Sonos. I can mix it with all other kinds of stuff, and it works remarkably well. They released 2.0 recently. It's like an add-on to Home Assistant. You install it, and then it retrieves all the music from, and that's why I use Jellyfin now. It retrieves information from Jellyfin, from Plex, and it streams that to other things. So I even don't notice if it's coming from YouTube Music or from my own local storage, unless it's FLAC. Then I say to myself that I hear the difference.
So, is this in any way comparable to something like Navidrome?
I don't know.
Oh,
Let me check that. The
no, no, Navidrome would be a music provider.
no, the most important thing for Music Assistant is that it really creates one interface, and I can group together disparate devices like my uh, receiver. Can I can put that in the same group with an Apple HomePod, and then it streams the music to it, and it keeps it in sync throughout the whole house.
So it would be so Navidrome would be subsonic basically, a subsonic client.
Yeah, yeah. Subsonic
Yeah,
or the Jellyfin client.
because maybe you don't, maybe you know, maybe you don't. Sonos just released their brand new client.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that sort of rendered my Navidrome install useless because it refuses to connect to it.
Oh, that's not good.
No. That means that my complete local library is now being ignored.
I would say start using Jellyfin.
Well, that's the question. If that actually, I could use Plex, but I do not like the Plex music interface.
Well, I'm not going to share my screen. We can do that later. But I can also use from Music Assistant the sources from Plex as well. And I know
But
you're
can
not a
I
Home Assistant user, so
can I use Music Assistant, but I'm not a Home Assistant user?
let's find out. Perhaps we can do another episode completely on Music Assistant.
It sounds interesting, though.
Yeah. So, do you have a tip for today?
Yes, I do.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So actually, this wasn't my personal tip, but I was watching Linus Sebastian the other day, and he was talking about a Google free
Hmm.
life, and that always tickles my fancy because I think big tech has enough information on me. So he came up with a picture synchronization software or picture backup software. I mean, call it what you will. Um, that is called Imich. So that's
Hmm.
IMMICH. And what you can do with that is you can sort of create your own home hosted picture cloud.
Okay.
So it's got an app for Android, it's got an app for iOS, and you can link it up to your local server, which you can deploy on Docker. So basically takes no time at all to set up. You just have to mind the storage. You then install the app. You tell the app, yes, I want to back up all my pictures with Imig. You select the folders. You decide if you want a foreground or a background synchronization process, and then you press go, and that's it.
Okay. So, but,
And the wonderful thing is, it's got if your hardware supports it. So there is a little but. But if it does, it has an AI engine that does facial detection, that does a picture grouping, and that makes the same collages of pictures that iCloud or Google Pictures does. So almost no downsides.
okay. I used something like, wow, I just talked about it earlier.
Photo Prism,
So, Photo Prism.
yeah.
Um, you know Photo Prism?
No,
Oh, I was going to say, how does it compare? But how does it compare
I
in speed? Is it a bit speedy? I had Photo Prism. It was okay on the functionality, but I thought it was a bit slow.
So this is really fast. So this did a synchronization of almost 20 years of pictures in under an
Oh
hour.
wow! But,
And you can decide if you want to do the synchronization just on your Wi-Fi. So if you want to keep it local, right? You don't want to publish it to the internet. Don't. Why should you? What would be the
hmm,
benefit? Uh, but so the advantage here, because well, why would you want to do that? The advantage here, obviously, is you could then sort of delete pictures from your Google storage or your iCloud storage,
hmm,
uh, and not have to pay for that storage. So that would be a big advantage. Obviously, then you have to have something running at home while you're at it.
yeah,
So yeah, there is it's one or the other, right? I mean, it's no backup is no
yeah.
backup.
Oh, you can use your home lab like we talked about in the previous episode.
Then again, I mean, you could use both, right? You could have a backup in the iCloud or in the Google Cloud and have it
Yeah,
local. So if one or the other dies, then you're still covered.
yeah. I think that's I can sleep better knowing that I have my own copy of the pictures that I have in
Yeah.
iCloud, because if I don't pay for iCloud, I don't have my pictures. Yeah, they're on my phone, but not the high quality ones that are in iCloud. So
Exactly. Yeah. So there definitely is an upside to this, and well, you don't need to run it 24/7. I mean, you're not taking pictures 24/7, so why would you need it 24/7 up and running?
yeah,
But no, that was a bad sentence. Anyway, I mean, you could just run it once a day and then sync up and then stop it again. I mean,
yeah, cool. You obviously got a link to it on your homepage already.
well, not yet because I very recently deployed it, but I will put it up there. Yes, but you don't really need the web interface because you've got the app on your iPhone. And basically that's all you need.
Yeah.
You know, you install it, you link it up, you press backup, and it's a fire and forget mission. Basically, that's what you
Oh,
do.
great.
Yeah, and I love software like that. Stuff that just works wonderful. I love
Yep.
it.
Yeah, me too. Well, with that, let's homepage this around. When you use an homepage, let us know. We really want to learn from you guys and girls on.
Do we talk nonsense? Do you have a better idea? Should we look at your homepage? Do you maybe have the ultimate homepage?
Yeah, so
Let us know.
let us know in the comments below or on our website, ntvn.online. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Perhaps we do have some vacation time in between, but we have to figure that out in the coming weeks. So,
Oh yeah,
with that, I'm AJ.
Alex.
See you next time.